welcome to the Shay Yarn Crochet Along to make this stitch sampler cardigan. In this, our final part, we will be discussing the trimming for it and also pocket options. If you missed any of the previous parts, you can ladder up to them right here. So let's get going. For my cardigan, I'm going to be keeping my trim pretty basic on it just because the hood is already a statement piece and the stitches are already a statement piece. I don't want to add too much to it. So no matter what kind of trim you decide to do, you're going to start with your foundation line just like you did after you did your ribbing. So we're going to be doing one line all around this kind of raw edge of our cardigan. So I'm going to grab my ivory colored yarn that I used for all of my other trim, like my ribbing and things like that. And then either your smaller or your larger size hook. This kind of depends on what stitch you want to end up using for your trim. So I'm going to start by literally just forcing my hook into these stitches here, pulling up a loop, and laying single crochets all the way down. In the beginning here, you're going to have actual stitches to work them into, but as you go along, you're just going to have the sides of stitches and you're just going to force them in as you go. You could also crochet this piece separately and sew it on, but this is just the way that I like to do it. I don't like the idea of sewing it on afterwards. I feel like it doesn't have enough give for me, but that's just what I like to do. So after you've gone all the way around with this, all the way to the other side and to your other side of ribbing, that's when you're gonna lay your like actual trim stitch. I think I'm gonna be going with a half double just because again, I don't want anything too crazy, but you could use another row of singles. You could technically just leave it here. You could do doubles, you could do a granny stripe, you could do a shell. Feel free to get creative depending on how much excess you want to add to this cardigan. So I'm going to finish up my little foundation strip here and I'm going to finish my row of half doubles and I will catch up with you then. So I did my base layer of single crochets and then I did a layer of half double crochets on top of that, just so I have like a neat border around the edge of our cardigan. And one of the last things I'm going to discuss is pockets. On my original stitch sampler cardigan, this is it, I made these little heart doilies and I used these for pockets. So you could do this, but there's also, you could just do a large square or rectangle with, this is half double, you could also do single crochets. And then I did some granny clusters on top just to give it like a more finished seam. So you could do this and then sew it on and you have a beautiful pocket. Another fun option is doing a granny square, because you could get even more texture on your cardigan if that's what you're looking for. So you just make whatever granny square you love and then you could sew it on. So here I am in my beautiful trimmed out cardigan. I did not sew any of my pocket options onto my cardigan because quite frankly, I'm just gonna unravel these. These were examples. What I'm gonna do is I am learning to spin my own yarn. So I'm using a blending board to take the scraps from this cardigan and mixing them with just some regular wool to make yarn that will be like made from this cardigan and make that into some very, like, I'm just gonna crochet squares. So I have a long ways to go before I know how to do this properly, but that's what I'm gonna be doing for my pockets. So I hope you had fun on this crochet along. I did. This was such a fun project. I'm gonna do another one soon. So if you have any requests or suggestions for what item we should crochet along next, and yes, with a stitch randomizer, because that is like one of the most fun parts of doing this project, and that one will have even more stitches on it. I have a couple in mind that I've already decided to add to my next wheel, so stay tuned for details about that. And like I said, let me know if there's any particular item you guys want to do as a crochet along together. And last but not least, please make sure you tag me, use the Shay Yarn Crochet Along hashtag so we can all see your beautiful cardigans as you finish them. Thanks, guys.